Let's begin with our discovery of various models that help us during the organizational decision making, and the first one is going to be the durational model. Now, this model is can sound a little bit strange and a little bit naive, but keep in mind that it is understood as some sort of ideal model for decision making. So, ideal model, or in other words, everything would be perfect if we could have used this model. But of course, in reality, what we are gonna talk about is not used in the reality. So why should we learn it? Well, the reason is that once you know some ideal situation, you can try to get as close to it as possible, and that's why we are studying the ideal decision making model at first. So let's see. The ideal situation is one in which there is no uncertainty. Well, is this possible in reality? Of course not. There is always some uncertainty. If you would imagine a basic decision, let's say you are a manager and you are deciding what lunch are you going to offer to your employees in your company canteen. Well, you would decide, let's say, we are switching purely to vegetarian food. Well, you would have to be certain that everyone is okay with that, and you cannot be. You would have to talk with everyone. Let's say you have hundreds of employees. You cannot be certain about a decision to a 100% scope. Now, managers know all courses of action that are open to them. Well, is this really true? If you would imagine yourself making this decision about what lunch are you going to offer to your employees, you would have to know all courses of action, which would mean that you have to know all the possible recipes in the world, which is definitely not possible. You have to know all the ingredients of food that are out there. And so this is again some ideal situation. You know just limited courses, limited number of courses that are open to you. Then they know the exact effects of all alternatives on stakeholders' interests. So stakeholders in this scenario, when we are deciding about what lunch are we going to offer to our employees, are our employees. Now you would have to know exact effects of all the possibilities. So take all the recipes that are around the world. There can be billions of them. And now you would have to know the exact effect of any of the recipe to any of the employees. So we are getting to billions and billions of combinations, which is unimaginable in the reality, but at least we know where we are trying to get. Then they are able to use the same decision rules to rank each alternative, and thus can make the one best decision, the one that will maximize return of organizational stakeholders. So again, you would like to satisfy your employees with a great lunch. Well, we concluded that there are billions of recipes all around the world. Now, even if we would know all the effects of all the recipes on all our employees, yeah, it's quite weird to say, but we would have to even rank them. So we would be then able to decide which one is the best. So we would have to assign, okay, this recipe is super good for them, this recipe is just slightly good for them, and so on and so on. And this is the strongest statement, that under the rational model you should be able to do the one best decision. But in reality this never happens. You are just trying to get to as good decision as possible, because best decision is a really strong statement. If you would do best decision, then there would be no other decision better, but this is just not possible, because maybe if you just change your decision slightly, let's say if you would do it 10 minutes later, it could have been already better. So this is a strong statement. Now let's see a quick summary of what we have just talked about, and later on in the upcoming video we are going to compare the rational model, which is the ideal situation, with a Carnegie model, which is sort of a reality based. So the rational model, all information is available. Well, we said that's not possible, but that's ideal for us. Then decision making is costless. So let's imagine that there is no time invested in decision making, and in that case it would be costless, of course. Then decision making is value free, and the full range of possibilities is generated. You can't, of course, generate all the possibilities that you have. Then the solution is chosen by an anonymous agreement. This we have not touched yet. Imagine that there is a group of managers who are making decision. An anonymous agreement would mean that they all agree on the one best solution. Of course, there are always going to be at least certain disputes about any kind of decision that is being made. And finally, solution is best for organization. We said that this is a very strong statement, and in reality, we never really can make the best decision. We can just try to get as close to it as possible. And as I said in the upcoming video, we are going to compare this our idealistic rational model with more reality-based Carnegie model.